I forgot my RMD. The IRS took 25% of my retirement. You know what keeps me up at night sometimes? It's not the stock market going up and down. It's not even inflation eating away at my savings. It's the thought of making a mistake so simple, so avoidable that it costs me thousands of dollars. And today I want to tell you about my neighbor Frank, because what happened to him last April still makes my stomach turn frank, and I have been friends for about 15 years now. We both retired around the same time, and we both thought we had everything figured out. He was a high school principal for 32 years. Smart guy, organized, meticulous with paperwork. The kind of person who files his taxes in February just to get them out of the way. So when he turned 73 back in 2023, he knew he had to start taking something called required minimum distributions from his IRA. He had read about it. He understood the concept. The government lets you save money tax-free for decades. But eventually, they want their cut. Fair enough, right? Here is where things went wrong. Frank had 3 different retirement accounts. One IRA from an old job he had in his 30s. Another rollover IRA from his principal pension. And a $401,000 from some consultant work he did after retiring. He figured he would just take one big distribution from his main IRA and call it a day. What he didn't realize is that with 401k accounts, you have to take the RMD from each 401k separately. You can't just pull it all from one account. Like you can with IRAs, his IRA distributions were fine. But that 401k just sat there untouched by the time he got the letter from the IRS. It was April of this year. Letter said he owed a 25% excise tax on the amount he failed to withdraw. Now let me put some real numbers on this, so you understand why Frank looked like he aged 5 years when he showed me that letter. His 401k had about $240,000 in it at the end of 2022. At age 73, the IRS life expectancy factor is 26.5 years. So his required minimum distribution was $240,000 divided by 26.5. That's $9,056 he was supposed to take out. He didn't. The penalty, 25% of $9,056. $2,264 gone. Just like that, for forgetting to click a few buttons. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Frank should have known better. He should have had an accountant. He should have double-checked, and you're right. But here is the thing that really bothers me. I almost made the exact same mistake. When I turned 73 last year, I sat down to figure out my RMD, and I realized I had no idea what I was doing. The rules have changed so many times in the past few years. I couldn't keep track. Used to be you had to start at 70 and a half. Then they changed it to 72. Now it's 73. And if you're younger than me, born in 1960 or later, you don't have to start until 75. The Secure Act and Secure 2.0 Act rewrote all the rules, even the penalty changed. It used to be 50%. Can you imagine 50% of your missed distribution just handed over to the IRS? At least now, it's only 25%. And here is something Frank wishes he had known. If you catch the mistake quickly and fix it within 2 years, the penalty drops to just 10%. You have to file Form 5329 with a letter explaining what happened and request a waiver. Frank did this, and the IRS reduced his penalty to about $900. Still painful, but better than $2,000. But the story doesn't end there. Because Frank's situation taught me something else I didn't fully understand. Let me walk you through exactly how this RMD calculation works, because it's not as straightforward as it seems. First, you need to know your account balance as of December 31st of the previous year. Not today, not when you take the distribution December 31st of last year. Second, you need to find your age on the IRS Uniform Lifetime Table. This table tells you your distribution period, which is basically how many years the IRS thinks you might live. At 73, it's 26.5 years. At 75, it's 24.6 years. At 80, it's 20.2 years. At 85, it's 16.0 years. See how it goes down each year? That means your RMD percentage goes up every year. Third, you divide your account balance by that distribution period number. Let's say you have $500,000 in your IRA and you're 75. 500,000 divided by 24.6 equals $20,325. That's your minimum withdrawal for the year. You can always take more, but you cannot take less. Now here is where it gets complicated for people like Frank with multiple accounts. If you have multiple traditional IRAs, you calculate the RMD for each one separately, but you can take the total amount from any one of them, or split it up however you want. But 401k plans are different. Each 401k requires its own separate distribution. You cannot satisfy a 401k RMD by taking extra from your IRA. This is the trap Frank fell into. He thought all retirement accounts were the same. They are not. Another thing I learned from Frank's experience that first year RMD has a special rule that can actually hurt you if you're not careful. When you turn 73, you have until April 1st of the following year to take your first RMD. Sounds generous, right? More time to figure things out. But here is the catch. If you wait until April of the next year to take your first RMD, you still have to take your second RMD by December 31st of that same year. So you end up with 2 RMDs in one tax year. Depending on your other income, that could push you into a higher tax bracket. It could increase your Medicare premiums through something called IRMAA. It could even make more of your Social Security benefits taxable. My neighbor down the street, Margaret, made this exact mistake. She delayed her first RMD until March of the following year, then took her second RMD in November. Her total income for that year was almost $40,000 higher than usual. Her Medicare Part B premium jumped by over $100 per month. For the next 2 years, the one-time savings of delaying that first RMD cost her thousands in higher Medicare costs. I share these stories, not to scare you, but because I wish someone had sat me down and explained all this before I turned 73. The IRS is not going to send you a friendly reminder. Your bank might send you a letter, but it's easy to miss or ignore, and the rules are complicated enough that smart people like Frank and Margaret get tripped up all the time. So what should you do if you're approaching this stage of retirement? First, sit down right now and make a list of every retirement account you have traditional IRAs rollover, IRAs. 401 kiloseconds from old employers, 403bs if you worked for a school or nonprofit. SAPE IRAs if you were self-employed. Each one needs to be accounted for. Second, figure out when you need to start taking RMDs. If you were born between 1951 and 1959, your RMD age is 73. If you were born in 1960 or later, your RMD age is 75. Third, calculate your RMD for each account. Take your December 31st balance, divide by your life expectancy factor from the IRS table. Fourth, and this is important, decide where you're going to take the distributions from. Remember, you can aggregate IRA distributions, but 401k plans each need their own withdrawal. Fifth, set up a system so you don't forget. Some people set up automatic distributions. Some people put it on their calendar for October or November, so they have time to deal with any issues. Some people have their financial advisor handle everything. Whatever works for you, pick something and stick with it. Now I want to address something I hear a lot from folks my age. They say, "Robert, I don't need that money right now. I don't want to take it out and pay taxes on it." I get it. I really do. But the RMD is not optional. You have to take it, whether you need it or not. What you do with it after, that's up to you. You can reinvest it in a regular brokerage account. You can put it in a savings account. You can donate it to charity through something called a qualified charitable distribution, or QCD, which can actually reduce your taxable income. But you cannot leave it sitting in your IRA, hoping the IRS won't notice. They will notice, and they'll take 25%. One more thing before I wrap up. This is something Frank told me after his whole ordeal that really stuck with me. He said, "Robert, I spent my whole career teaching kids about responsibility and consequences. And here I am at 74 years old, learning that lesson all over again. The money wasn't what hurt the most. It was the feeling of being careless about something that mattered, of letting my guard down when I should have been paying attention. I think about that a lot. We spend our whole working lives building these retirement savings. We sacrifice vacations and new cars and fancy dinners so we can have security in our later years. And then one forgotten withdrawal, one missed deadline can chip away at everything we built. It's not fair, but it's the system. The best we can do is understand the rules and play by them. So if you're watching this and you're anywhere close to 73, take this as your reminder. Check your accounts, calculate your RMDs, set up a system. Don't be Frank. Don't be Margaret. Don't hand the IRS a single dollar more than you legally owe. And if you've already made a mistake, if you've missed an RMD or taken too little, don't panic. File that Form 5329. Write that explanation letter, request the penalty waiver. The IRS actually grants these waivers pretty often for first-time mistakes, especially if you fix it quickly. I hope this helps some of you avoid the pain my friends went through. You know, after I posted my last video, I got a message from a gentleman named Richard in Ohio. He said he had been putting off figuring out his RMD for months because the whole thing felt overwhelming. But after watching, he finally sat down, did the math, and realized he had been closer to a mistake than he thought. That message meant more to me than any number of views or likes ever could. So if you have a story like that, or if you have questions I didn't cover, I want to hear from you. Sometimes I learn just as much from the comments as you might learn from me. We are all figuring this out together after all. And speaking of figuring things out, next week, I'm going to talk about something that blindsided my neighbor Margaret, the IRMAA cliff, and how one RMD withdrawal can secretly raise your Medicare premiums for 2 whole years. She is still frustrated about it, and honestly, I almost made the same mistake myself. If you want to make sure you catch that one, go ahead and subscribe. I post new videos every week about the retirement questions nobody warned us about. Until then, take care of yourselves and take care of your money, because at our age, we have earned every penny of it.